Well, hey everyone. There is no rhyme or reason to when I go live. I just go live when I'm cooking and I'm thinking, they'd probably like to have this recipe. So this is kind of one of those Nancy's one of a kind. I just love to get in the kitchen. So here's what I had. I had some fish. You see that? I had the fish. So that is the wild-caught grouper. Y'all seen me do that? Y'all seen me make that before? I get this at Walmart. It's 2 fillets, so that's about 66 grams of protein. But you see, I put olive oil and butter and seasoning on it, and I cooked that in the air fryer for about 8 minutes. I cut it into bite-sized pieces so it'll cook quickly. And then, so I'm gonna move that out of the way because that's a meal for tomorrow. And then this, I cut up, what this pan is right here, I cut up 2 Chuckeye steaks. And the reason I use Chuckeye is they're cheaper. And so, but they're tough. They can be tough. So I marinated them. I cut them in bite-sized pieces. Here they are. Yep, there you go. I cut them in bite-sized pieces and I marinated them in coconut aminos and garlic powder and salt and pepper and olive oil. And then I put them on this pan just like I did the fish, and I cooked those for about 8 minutes as well. And then I put them in the Instapot. And the reason I put them in the Instapot, now listen to this, my husband likes tender meat. So this meat now is so tender. Let me just show you how tender it is. See there? I mean, literally, it just pulls apart. Delicious. So then I put it in the Instapot with bone broth. And so now what I'm doing, this is kind of a process here. All right. I've been wanting to make this for a while. I'm just going to call this Nancy's version of beef stroganoff, okay? So what I've got in my pan here is onions and garlic and butter, okay? And I'm letting that cook. Remember I told you about my new pan my daughter gave me for my birthday, which is coming up in October. It's the, I always forget the name of it. Our House, I think, is the name of it. Or Our Home, maybe. But anyway, I love it because things don't stick. I mean, it's ceramic coated. So I'm going to let these onions and garlic cook. I didn't really cut up the garlic. I really just wanted it to flavor it. So, but when you're doing your garlic, you want to be sure. Let me just show you. If you're a new cook, let me show you how I do my garlic. All right. I'll show you that over here. Okay. So I buy organic garlic because I don't want to have garlic that's grown in the ground where there's a lot of chemicals. So here we go. I'm going to come over here close so you can see. So I just put my knife in between the cloves and I pop off a clove like that. And I usually use 3 or 4 pieces of garlic when I'm going to use garlic. But let me put that here. All right, you see I'm going to lay it down on this piece of tile that I've got here that I use as a cutting board. Lay my knife sideways and I'm just going to pop it, all right? So, and then I'm going to cut this little tip off the end because that's hard and I don't want that in my food. So I just cut that off. And then what I usually do, I'm peeling it. So usually, oops, there I go, dropping it on the floor. Okay, so I'm going to cut it in half and you'll see when you open it in half, you'll see that little stem in there. I don't want that. I don't want that in my food. So I'm going to pull that out and I'll pop this in here. Yeah, so that little hard, brittle part there, I don't want that. I don't want that green stem. It's kind of like the seed stem in an onion. So I'm just going to chip this up just so it'll go ahead and cook. So I'm just letting this brown a little bit. I'm going to put a little bit more butter in there just because it's kind of not, can use a little more. And I'm always wanting more good fat. How about you? All right, so there we go. So I'm gonna let that cook just a little bit more. And so how was your day today? I've had a really good day. I always enjoy cooking. So what I've got over here is some cauliflower that I did in the microwave. It's just organic rice cauliflower I brought in the frozen section at Walmart. And I put a little bit of bone broth in there when I was cooking it just because I wanted it to have more flavor. So I'm just letting this cook up. Maybe need to turn it down just a little bit. So I've got some heavy cream and I've got some sour cream. So I'm going to put about a half a cup of heavy cream and a half a cup of sour cream in here and then I'm also going to pull this. So let me show you. This is what was on the pan. So I want that in the, I don't want to waste this for sure because this is what cooked out of the meat. So I'm just going to carefully pour that in there. Yeah. And that's the coconut aminos and the seasoning and all that. So I didn't want to miss getting that goodness. So that's cooking those onions, and that's going to be really good. You know, I just kind of want to cook them until they're a little bit translucent, not too much. All right, so now I'm going to take this meat that I had cooked for 15 minutes in the Instapot, and I'm going to pour it in there just like that. And I thought about putting the heavy cream in the Instapot, but you can't do that. And the reason you can't do that is if you heat that heavy cream up too much, it breaks it down. Same thing with the sour cream. So I'm just letting that kind of blend together. And then I'm going to put that's about a half a cup of sour cream and a half a cup of heavy cream. And I'm just going to stir that up. I'm going to salt it a little bit. I'm just going to let it come to a boil. I'm not going to cook it too long because the cream will break down. If you've ever had that happen, then you kind of know what's happening here. So I'm just going to stir that around so that it's, yeah, there we go. Yep. And let that come to a boil. And then I'm going to put this cauliflower rice. I just want to taste that and see if it's got enough salt. You know, that could definitely use some more salt. So I salted the cauliflower rice. I'm letting this come to a boil just to break up that sour cream and the heavy cream, and you know, just get it a little bit thicker. Yep. I always like to get every little bit out because this stuff is like $4 for this little thing. Yeah. Close this up. So here we go. I'm just stirring it up. Okay, so I was listening to some podcast today, and you know, I was really listening to a whole panel. Pierce, what's his name? Pierce, I can't think of his last name. Anyway, he did a panel with Dr. Fung and 2 or 3 other, another doctor about Wegovy and the side effects of it, and just, you know, whether it's a good thing or a bad thing. And you know, the consensus was that it's a good thing for certain people. And that's kind of how I like to look at it. It's those injections, those shots, those weight loss medications are a good thing for certain people. There was a guy that had written a book, The Magic Pill, and he was very interesting to listen to. But anyway, and it was saying if you're the right candidate and you can handle all the possible risk, then you're a good candidate. But if you are at risk for other things, then you might not be the best candidate. So let me pop this down a little bit, and I'm going to put some cauliflower rice in here, about a half a cup of that, and then I'm going to spoon this steak. This is Chuckeye steak. It's delicious. Over this, and then I'm going to put the gravy on it because my husband loves gravy. And I'm going to give him a spoon to eat this with because I cut those bite-sized pieces small enough that he doesn't have to cut them up. So here we go. I'm going to give him some gravy. So that gravy is bone broth, which is a wonderful thing. It's bone broth and heavy cream and sour cream, so some very good fats in here. and some onion and garlic. It's just wholesome. Yeah. So if you think this is something you'd love to cook and you'd like to have the recipe, just in the comments, if you'll just put recipe, please. I'm going to send it out in an email.